How can rehabbers do less work and double their rehab profits? Traditional rehabbing is fraught with things that can turn a great deal into a staggering financial loss. Recently, a student asked me to take a look at his latest rehab. He was in the demo phase, which at this time included tearing out the floor tile and taking off the popcorn ceiling. We discussed at length what major repairs were needed, such as bathrooms and kitchen. To truly update the kitchen, he was contemplating removing a wall to open up the space into the living room. He had done a carefully prepared budget, but after we discussed the changes he needed to make to the property to get the highest possible price, he had to rethink his strategy. Originally, when he got the property under contract, he tried to wholesale it, but his end buyer didn't close, and my transactional funding unintentionally turned into extended transactional funding. The closed comparable sales were at least $100,000 over what he paid, and his original rehab budget was about $40,000. As he moved forward with the actual rehab and found problem after problem, he recalculated his estimated expenses, but he still seemed okay. He also did a more in-depth analysis of the comparable properties and realized that on paper, his house was identical, but in the real world, each of the other houses had very expensive rehabs and even added rooms to the original floor plans. He decided to stop the rehab and remarket the property as only needing lipstick on a pig. He got it under contract with a rehabber in 3 days and closed the following week. The new rehabber had the ability to do all the work himself, so his labor costs were minimal, and he had his own money, so he had no hard money costs. The result was the student made a profit of $22,000 after his initial rehab cost, but he did not have to carry the property any longer. I'm not sure the first time I heard the term lipstick on a pig, but it stuck with me because it sounded funny at the time. However, I started relating it to the rehab work I was doing because the properties were very ugly and what my buddies called pigs at the time. I quickly discovered that by doing minimum work on each property, no matter how ugly it was, I was able to add substantial value to the property with little money and work. These partial rehabs included mostly patching and painting the property. Just cleaning out a real junker of trash added $5,000 to $10,000 to its wholesale value. Floor coverings, kitchen countertop, and bathroom vanities should be considered as part of the patch and paint if you intend to wholesale the property. This minimalistic rehabbing process results in high-speed results combined with low expenses, and the end result is you're being able to sell the property at 85 to 90% of retail value, full market value. As an example of the power of this lipstick on a pig process, one of my most successful mentor students does about 125 short sales a year. He wholesales these properties and averaged about $10,000 to $15,000 profit per deal until he talked to me about how to kick up his profits. I suggested he do lipstick on a pig rehab, especially since he was intentionally seasoning his short sale deals for a couple of weeks. Some of these properties had deed restrictions, but he felt very comfortable holding the properties for legal reasons before selling them. Obviously, this meant he had to buy and close on each one, which required lots of cash. He had foreign private money investors who loaned him the money he needed at very favorable rates, which were nowhere near hard money rates. The student called me unexpectedly one day and asked me to have lunch with him. As I sat with him, he suddenly burst out with, "You made me more than $1 million extra last year." He went on to explain he had started lipsticking his properties and now was netting an additional $10,000 net profit on every deal. That's 125 times 10,000 or $1.25 million extra each year. He spent an average of less than $2,000 per property. As an estimate of what a lipstick profit increase should do for you is an additional 50 to 100% of the wholesale profit that you were originally expecting. Typically, if you have to redo the floor coverings, tile, wood, carpet, etc., you should try and keep your budget to about 2 to 3% of the property purchase price. This is a guideline and it can vary greatly because of the condition of the property before you start. If you have the time, I strongly suggest you do some minimal landscaping, as this is the first impression your potential buyers will see. If the exterior is plain ugly, the only people who may stop are likely other investors, so don't worry about it in this case. Power washing your sidewalk, driveway, and the property gives you the greatest return for the money and your time. What is most important is to keep your total expenses in control for a lipstick rehab, or soon you'll be doing a full renovation before you know it. Replacing kitchens and bathrooms is not lipstick on a pig, but rather a full rehab. The greatest advances in the world have happened because people just like you followed their passion. If you don't take a leap of faith and trust yourself, you may only have regrets, especially knowing that you could have done it. I know you can be a successful investor if you try hard enough and you do not quit. Follow me and join us so we can help you achieve your destiny by fulfilling your personal passion. It's a simple choice to take control of your fears and change your life forever, and now is the time to do it. You deserve it, so why not you?